This is Daniel Villegas, and he is about to experience the most important moment of his life.
Verdict Form B. We, the jury, find the defendant, Daniel Villegas, not guilty of...
After 18 years in prison, the judge recognized that Villegas was innocent and acquitted him. His story is not unique, and there are dozens of people who have received incredibly harsh sentences for things they never did. In this video, we want to show you the most severe of these cases. These are people who spent 30 years in prison for nothing, criminals who fraudulently framed others for their crimes, and even people who ended up in the electric chair with no evidence. We begin in the United States with perhaps the greatest miscarriage of justice in recent history. In 2004, a young man named Clemente Aguirre went to his neighbor's house to ask for a beer. There, he saw something terrible. The two neighbors were lying on the porch, brutally stabbed and lifeless. Aguirre could not believe it and tried to revive the women on the spot. When that didn't work, he ran home, where he was arrested by police a few hours later. The evidence seemed clear. As a result of the resuscitation attempt, Aguirre had the DNA of both women on his body, which is why he received an unbelievable sentence in court, the death penalty. He served 4 years in a regular prison before being sent to death row. After 14 years, however, the case was reopened, and there was growing evidence that someone else had killed the two women when, in fact, Aguirre was only trying to help. Out of nowhere, he was acquitted and received $720,000 in restitution from the state. That's just $140 for every day he spent in prison thinking he was going to die.
I do know nobody believed me back then. No one. Besides my mother, nobody believed me.
We continue with a case in which a well-known person played a key role. In 2007, a man named Jamal Truelove was sentenced to 50 years in prison by the San Francisco District Attorney's Office for the alleged murder of a man. The prosecutor at the time was Kamala Harris, the politician who could have become the first female president of the United States. Harris's team was deeply convinced of Truelove's guilt at the time, and she fought hard for a life sentence, even as protests erupted all over San Francisco. In the end, the judge gave him a life sentence, and Truelove was put behind bars. But 6 years later, new evidence came to light, and he was acquitted. To this day, however, he is extremely disappointed in Kamala Harris, who he says supports a liberal legal system. The former presidential candidate has refused to comment on the matter. In Australia, in 2018, a man who was accused of an evil act was put on trial. He had severely beaten his wife. This followed a tragic separation after years of a relationship. The woman called the police on the night of the separation, showing them serious injuries to her face and a damaged apartment. Everything pointed to the fact that her boyfriend had utterly lost it, and he was taken into custody. But that wasn't the case. Her actions were part of an insidious plan to get back at her boyfriend. She vandalized the apartment and caused the injuries herself, as security camera footage proved. The man was quickly acquitted, but the story still haunts him.
Not the guy who I used to be anymore.
Another unfortunate case is that of Joyce Watkins and Charlie Dunn, an American couple who, in 1987, were accused of murdering their niece, who was only a toddler at the time. They spent 30 years separated from each other behind bars, exposed to daily violence and gang fights in prison. In 2022, the case was reopened and took a spectacular turn. New investigative methods revealed that Watkins and Dunn had nothing to do with the case. After 30 years in prison, an exoneration was announced. But after tears of emotion and many hugs, the real drama was not over.
They always knew they were innocent. Their families always knew they were innocent. And now today, everybody knows they're innocent.
Charlie Dunn had already lost his life in prison in 2015, 7 years before his acquittal. So only his wife could see the light of freedom again, which made her daughter extremely sad.
I wish my daddy was here to witness this day. He knew he was innocent. He knew that he did not commit those crimes.
Probably the harshest punishment in the justice system is the death penalty. And that is precisely what happened to a woman named Melissa Lucio in 2008. Her 2-year-old daughter tragically died after falling down a flight of stairs. Jurors found that Lucio had intentionally killed the little girl and imposed the maximum penalty, the electric chair. For years, Lucio, her family, and her lawyer fought for a pardon or a re-evaluation of the case, and a small movement was even formed to fight for Lucio's freedom. But the day of execution came closer and closer until April 28, 2022, when it was all supposed to be over. 2 days before, however, the unbelievable happened. Her lawyer had managed to stop the execution and start a new trial. Indeed, the case is being retried, and many believe Lucio could be set free. So, it will be a last-minute rescue in the truest sense. Cameron Todd Willingham was not so lucky. He too was sentenced to death for allegedly killing his 3 daughters in a house fire. In 2004, after years of legal wrangling, he found himself on death row, awaiting a lethal injection. It was finally administered, and his life ended. For most people, that was the end of the case until 2014, when there was a shocking twist. That year, the key witness recanted the testimony proving Willingham's guilt. According to his testimony, the witness had lied, which is why the judge's decision should never have led to the lethal injection. Cameron Todd. Willingham was pardoned after his death to clear his name, but he is one of the innocent victims of the death penalty. Finally, a historical example shows that even in the Middle Ages, you could be severely punished even if you had not done anything illegal and had told the truth. At the end of the 16th century, Galileo Galilei proved that the Earth revolved around the sun and that our planet was not at the center of the universe, as the Church had believed for centuries. This did not sit well with the Church, which launched a major trial against Galileo, who, despite his groundbreaking research, was considered a heretic and a traitor to the Christian faith. His punishment was severe torture. Incredibly, it was not until 1992 that the Vatican restored his reputation and the truth, more than 300 years after it had become clear that the Earth was not the center of the universe. So, even in the 1990s, he was officially considered a liar and a sycophant before he was officially exonerated. Let us know in the comments which of these cases made the biggest impression on you. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.